Have you ever looked at a project status report that's all green and feel like something's off, even though you're the one who wrote it? Sure, the last milestone was technically delivered, but only after a week of escalations, late nights, and borderline begging. The dashboard just says complete, status green. But if the past truly is the best indicator of future performance, you already know that next week's going to be worse. That's the problem with most tracking methods. They only show what's happened, not how it happened, and definitely not what's about to go wrong. So in this video, I want to share with you how I track progress differently, not just by ticking boxes, but by spotting the early signs that a project's starting to slip. The problem with traditional tracking is most of what we measure in projects isn't a perfect view of progress. It's just outputs. Usually it focuses on three things: tasks marked complete, costs including hours booked, and status reports that flash red, amber, green. Sounds sensible, right? But here's the thing. All of that is looking in the rearview mirror. They're lagging indicators. They don't tell you where things are heading, only where you've been. And that's how PMs get caught off guard. Everything looks fine until it's not. So instead of asking, is everything on track? Start asking, what signals are already telling me that the project may be drifting? 3 signals that a project is slipping before it's obvious. Number 1, milestones are met, but later than planned. This one's sneaky. You do hit the milestone, just a little late. No big deal, right? But then the next one slips too. And then the next. And I've seen this play out on waterfall projects where low-level milestones slowly creep to the right. Nobody panics. And then major milestones start to creep to the right too. And then delays hit your major dependencies. And suddenly your launch window is completely gone. And you're waiting months for another. In agile projects, I've seen the same thing. Stories start falling from one sprint into the next. But nobody wants to admit that the team's velocity isn't what they hoped. So they keep overestimating and keep falling short. That kind of slippage is easy to ignore until you start getting difficult questions from the top about when you're actually going to finish. That's why I track milestone slippage as a trend. Not just did we hit it, but did we hit it when we said we would? Was it a smooth delivery or was it a painful one? If people are working overtime just to keep things green, or your team looks frazzled in week 2 of implementation, that's an early warning indicator going off. Number 2, decisions are backing up. When key decisions are waiting on stakeholders, progress slows. You take something to steerco, and instead of getting a quick yes or no, they debate it. They talk around it. And then the meeting runs out of time, and suddenly you're back next month with the same decision. To be fair, you can often avoid that by getting the real decision made before the steerco, and I will explain that in a future video, so subscribe so you don't miss it. Some delays are unexpected. Others are baked into the system, like hiring. People forget that it's not just the interviews and the onboarding that takes time. You need to write the job spec, you need to get it approved, you need to get the funding signed off. And in some organizations, that process alone can take months. So by the time you're ready to go to market, you've already lost weeks. When decisions drag, you start seeing the signs: blocked tasks, chasing emails, meetings that get bumped. I actually build key decisions into my Gantt chart right on the critical path. So if they move, everything moves. And the impact is right there in front of you. And speaking of impact, if this video is helping you out, you can help it in return by hitting the like button. That way it'll reach more people who might need it too. Number 3, issues are staying open too long. Not all issues are equal. Some take longer to fix, some are more urgent, but generally the faster you close them, the better. When you review the issue log and you keep seeing the same issues again and again, they start to disappear into the background. You stop engaging with them properly. And that, right there, is a signal. If an issue's been open too long, it's quietly draining momentum. Think of it like an injury. Let's say you twist your knee. You can still walk, but you're limping. The sooner you get help, physio, treatment, whatever, the sooner you're back up to full speed. Leave it too long, and not only are you slower, but you risk doing more damage with every step. Issues are the same. The longer they stay open, the more they drag the project down. And here's the worst part. If you can't close issues because your team's too stretched, then we're back to signal number 1 with burnout, late delivery, late milestones, and now persistent issues. That's 2 warning lights flashing at the same time. So here's what I actually do. When I'm managing a project, I build these signals right into how I track progress. Not because they're in some methodology, but because they give me an early warning. For milestones, I don't just track whether we hit them, I track how much drift there's been over time. I'll sometimes log notes on how they were achieved, especially if heroics were required to get them over the line. And if I start seeing signs that tasks are taking longer than expected, I raise that. If it's uncertain, it goes in the RAID as a risk. If it's already happening, it's an issue. Then I dig in. Were the estimates wrong? Are the assumptions outdated? Do we need more resource, or is there a bottleneck in the process? For decisions, I add them directly into my plan as milestones with owners and due dates. If they shift, I can see it straight away and what slips with them. And for issues, I highlight any that have been open for more than 10 days, just to start the conversation. Why hasn't this been fixed? Yes, 10 days is a little aggressive, but it keeps the mindset sharp. And here's an inside tip from the PMO world. If I see a RAID log with issues that have been open for more than 60 days, I see that as a red flag. It suggests to me that the project isn't in control. None of this is complicated. It's not just about watching the right things. The trick is to watch them with intention, not passively. Understanding the importance of these things and appreciating that you have the power and the obligation to do something about them. Tracking progress isn't about dashboards and traffic lights. It's about noticing the friction, the slowdowns and the delays, the effort that shouldn't be there. That's how you stay ahead of the problems instead of reacting once they land. So if your gut tells you that something's off when the report says green, you're probably right. Start listening to that signal. So you watch my videos because you want to get better at managing projects, right? Well, here's something you may not know. I actually help organizations to do this for real. With almost 20 years of experience, I've worked across multiple industries, fixing PMOs, improving governance, and coaching teams to deliver actual results and not just good intentions. But would I work well with your team? Well, you've been watching me, and this, what you see right now, that's exactly who I am when I'm working with teams. My videos are your pre-screen, so if your organization could use a little help, pass my details on to your leadership. The link's in the description. Let's make things better, and I promise not to baffle your leadership with project jargon. Well, not too much.